What's up, you guys? So, I am back with a video about Monique and her comments about Tiffany Haddish in her interview, her viral interview with Shannon Sharpe. She implied that if Tiffany Haddish had the husband she had, she wouldn't have two DUIs and it wouldn't look like she was a child. So we're going to get into that in this video. But first, if you're watching and you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, and everyone click the thumbs up button. And if you're a future content creator, if you ever thought about being a content creator, check out my content creator bootcamp. You can sign up at lovelailalyn.com. All right, you guys. So Monique did an interview with Shannon Sharpe. She went to Club Shay Shay and she got some things off her chest. And one of the things she talked about was Tiffany Haddish and Tiffany Haddish's comments about her. Now, I want to give y'all some background on what happened between Monique and Tiffany Haddish. Now, Monique, you guys all remember Monique asked everyone to boycott Netflix because she felt like she wasn't getting offered the pay she deserved being a comedian of her caliber. And then Tiffany Haddish actually said she already had a deal with Netflix. During that time, Tiffany Haddish revealed that she had a deal with Netflix. And she tweeted, she said, "I already got a deal and I signed it way before she said a thing. And it's not legend money, but it's enough to take care of my family for a minute. Hashtag facts." Now, the T was, it was 800,000. That was the T, that it was a little less than $1 million that Tiffany Haddish got in her Netflix deal. But in any case, Monique responded to the tweet and she said, "You've done nothing wrong, my sister. You keep shining. I am proud of you. You keep doing what you're doing. You're making it better for the next ones. Love you to life." So as you can see, at that point in time, like there was no beef between Monique and Tiffany, and Monique was actually supportive of Tiffany Haddish. And I think Monique is of the belief that a lot of people are, that you can attack an issue from multiple directions. Like if there is racism at Netflix, you can attack it from the outside, like with a boycott, or you can attack it from the inside. Like there are different ways to attack it. But in any case, there was no problem there.
A few moments later.
Tiffany Haddish did an interview, and you could say she started something. She wanted to be starting something because someone asked her about Monique and Monique encouraging people to boycott Netflix in an interview with GQ. And she said, quote, "My business run different than her business. I don't live her life. I don't have that husband of hers. I'm looking at how Netflix has opened up so many opportunities for Black females in comedy. When my people are dying, that's when you're going to catch me protesting. I'm not going to protest because somebody got offered not the amount of money they wanted to get offered. If you don't like what they're offering you, just no longer do business with them. If I protest Netflix, what about all the Black shows that are on there? What about all the other actors that are working on there? All the Indians, all the Hispanics, the Asians. My show, The Carmichael Show, airs on there right now. It ain't on NBC." And so that interview, that GQ interview, is where the issue started with Tiffany and Monique. And Monique addressed them in her interview at Club Shay Shay. So let's take a listen to what she had to say about Tiffany Haddish and her not having a husband.
Conversation about it. It just happened because it was supposed to. So when people question my husband and why is he there, you would hope you would have one like that. I remember our beautiful sister Tiffany Haddish did an interview with GQ magazine, and this, in my humble opinion, is where we keep throwing each other under the bus. You're doing an interview with GQ magazine, and I'm assuming the journalist was a white person, and the conversation turned to Monique, and she said, "Well, I don't do business like Monique do business, and I'm glad I don't have that husband of hers."
But you don't know your husband.
And when I saw that, it's like, Tiffany, if you had a husband like mine, you may not have 2 DUIs. If you had a husband like mine, you may not be caught up in what looks like you could have been out. And I say all of that with no judgment. But when you speak about having a husband like mine, you open up the door. And I'm saying to you, if you had one like mine, you may not sit in these positions that you can't explain the next day.
Right.
Or it's a hard way to go. So once again...
But you don't even have a husband, let alone like yours.
Well, damn it now. You said it. I sipped on that, Shannon. That was a sip. That required a sip.
Shannon Sharpe just had to throw that in there about Tiffany Haddish not having a husband at all. And I feel like he missed the point. I think Monique was trying to say she has a supportive husband, and if Tiffany Haddish had a supportive husband, she wouldn't be in the situations that she's in. But to me, it sounded like Shannon Sharpe implied that there's something wrong with not having a husband. Now, I feel like, yes, you can benefit from a husband. You can be supported by a husband. You can be inspired, okay? by your husband, by your man, by your partner. I understand what Monique was saying, but I feel like sometimes as women, we're made to feel like if we don't have a man by our side, that we are incomplete. And it's just not the case. It's just not the case. And regarding Monique saying that if Tiffany Haddish had a husband like her, she wouldn't have 2 DUIs and look like she was causing harm to a child. She wouldn't be in those situations. She wouldn't be in situations where she wakes up the next morning not able to explain what's going on in her life. I feel like as an individual, you shouldn't need a partner to keep you from getting DUIs. Like, you shouldn't need a partner to keep you from causing harm to a child. You shouldn't need a partner. You shouldn't need a husband or wife for that. That's something you should be able to do on your own as a person. That's how I feel about it. You guys leave a comment. Let me know what you think. What do you think about Monique returning that serve about her husband and saying that Tiffany Haddish basically could use a husband like hers? Do you agree with that? And what do y'all think about Shannon Sharpe saying, well, Tiffany Haddish don't have a husband at all? Leave a comment and share your thoughts. And I wanted to talk more about Monique's interview with Shannon Sharpe. She said so many things, and I want to talk about what she said about Taraji P. Henson and how Taraji P. Henson shouldn't have auditioned for The Color Purple. She shouldn't have auditioned, and when she did audition, that's how they knew they could treat her any kind of way. All right, you guys. So in Monique's interview with Shannon Sharpe, she answered the question why the public seemed to be more receptive to Taraji P. Henson speaking out about pay disparity for Black women in Hollywood, why people were more receptive to Taraji compared to her. Now, a lot of people had said that it had to do with the physical presentation because they look different. People were saying because Taraji is considered to be more conventionally attractive, that people were more receptive to her. And basically, to put it bluntly, because Taraji is smaller than Monique and because she's lighter than Monique and because she talks softer than Monique, people were more receptive to her. But Monique actually felt that the reason people were more receptive to Taraji was because she was crying. She didn't mention anything physical. She just said basically it was her approach, that she was crying like she was meek and she was passive because she was crying. It seemed like in that interview with Gayle, it seemed like she didn't plan to talk about that. And it seemed like she was overcome with emotion. That's why she was crying. But in any case, Monique felt it was because of the tears, not because of the difference in their looks. Now, something else interesting that Monique brought up, the whole interview was interesting to me, but I thought it was interesting that Monique brought up that the fact that Taraji P. Henson auditioned for the role, the fact that she was willing to audition, let the production know that they could treat her any kind of way.
I'm offer only. When I say, what's Monique availability? None of your business. I don't know you. So you're just going to send an email and want to know what's my availability. I'm offer only. I am offer only. So again, we got to be careful what we say yes to. What Sidney Poitier say? It's not how many times you say yes. Mm-hmm. It's how many times you say no. And the moment our baby auditioned, they got set up for no trailers. They got set up for no food. They got set up for no drivers because now in their mind, they think you're desperate.
Right.
So when Oprah does the one-on-one with Taraji and she begins to run down her credits, the great Taraji P. Henson, then why ever would you allow the audition to happen? Why ever would you allow that? Why wouldn't you go to that studio and say, she doesn't have to, I handpicked them. So either our sister's not as powerful as we believe she is, or either there's not the concern that she tries to make it look like it is.
In her viral New York Times interview, Taraji actually spoke about having to audition and how she didn't want to audition for the role. The person asked her, the director, when Blitz came to you with an offer to return to your musical roots, was it an easy yes? And she said, well, it was an easy yes to him. Oftentimes in the industry, you can be the director's choice, but not the studio's. So I had to audition. I had to check my ego because I was like, why am I auditioning? I mean, I get the singing because there's nothing out there that shows me singing like that. But I had to sing, dance, and they read me. I was like, ouch. And so then the person asked her, when was the last time you had to audition? And she said, I don't even know, because at this point, I'm a Golden Globe winner and Academy Award nominated. So I went in there with a chip on my shoulder because I was like, you will never second guess me again. And then she goes on to explain how she found a dress and how she did her audition. But I think it's interesting that Monique would imply because Taraji was willing to audition, that let production know that they could treat her any kind of way. Basically saying it made her look desperate or thirsty because she was willing to audition despite being a Golden Globe winner, despite being Academy Award nominated, she was still willing to humble her ego and audition. And it sounds like Monique is saying, don't humble yourself. Like in Hollywood, don't humble yourself, stand on business and you'll get treated better. So you guys leave a comment and let me know what you think about that. Do you think you get treated better in business when you're not humble? When you have a big ego and you're not willing to humble yourself, do you get treated better in business? I feel like it is a strategy and it looks like it does work for some people, but leave a comment and let me know what you think. And what do you think about Monique saying that people were more receptive to Taraji because she was more passive and because she was crying? Leave a comment and share your thoughts. As always, thanks for watching.
Layla, Layla, tell us it all.